All right. Good morning, everyone. Good morning again. Okay, so who are we at SWI? We are okay. Yeah. We're a faith-based organization with the principal aim of igniting the success. Can you still see my screen?
Yes, it can.
Okay, yeah. So we are a faith-based organization with the principal aim of igniting the success power within people with emphasis on the youth. So that's why you see that we start every of our programs, every of our meetings with prayer because all of our principles are based on the word of God. And our goal is to basically ignite success power within people. And this covers every aspect of your life, talking about finance, talking about health, talking about career, talking about your spirituality, talking about your relationship, talking about basically any and everything that has to do with your life and making you a total person. And of course, our focus is on the youth. So if you look at most of the people in the group chat, you would see that we are all young, thriving, building something. So yes, that's who we are in a nutshell. And I'll be going straight to I'm going straight to our vision as an organization. Our vision is to raise people of outstanding success for global relevance. So even on this call, I'm sure we have people from the UK, we have people from Canada, we have people from Ireland, from all over the world. So our principles are not just for Nigerians. Our principles are principles that can be utilized anywhere in the world, and you'd be guaranteed of success and global relevance. So next, I'll be going to our core values. So we have an acronym for our core values, which is SSPEEDD. That's speed. So one is spirituality. Like I said earlier, we're a faith-based organization. Two is synergy. I'm sure you've already seen how we are in the room. So for us to even be that way, then it means that one, we all work together in one alignment. We are basically in one accord, just like the Bible. We are united, we understand the vision, and we go with the vision together. And basically, we're like a family. So, you see that in everything we do, we are able to synergize. So passion, we're very passionate about what we do. This is why you see that I don't think since we launched breakfast meeting, there hasn't been a month that we did not have breakfast meeting. So passion is what can really drive that. So we're passionate about what we do, even with all of our other activities, you would see passion burning. Exemplary lifestyle. So we ensure that we do not just talk, we ensure that we are examples of all that we talk about. The person that is speaking to us today, Mama Kate, she is actually a member of SWI community. She's our VP, and she has her lifestyle literally exudes her lifestyle literally exceeds what she's going to teach us today. Also, with our executives, with even our community members, you can see that all what they do. First, they're Christian. Second is they literally walk the talk. So excellence, we're excellent in what we do. We always strive for the utmost best. We strive to be the best in everything that we do, put in our every effort and ensure that we deliver nothing short of excellence, just like our president's motto. We're also disciplined. It takes discipline to be able to put into practice new things, to be able to unlearn, relearn, and really grow. So we're disciplined in everything that we do, and we are also diligent. So these are our core values as an organization. Next, I'll be talking about our mission. Please, if I'm too fast, you can let me know. So, what is our mission? Our mission is to help nurture youth for creativity and excellence. We want to be able to bring out that creative and excellent part of you because, we're God's children, and if our God is excellent, then we have everything in us to be creative and to be excellent. We also teach youth God's way of success. There's the world's way of success, and there's God's way of success. Just because people are excelling or succeeding in a certain thing they're doing, if it doesn't align to the will of God, if it doesn't align to God's way of doing things, then we're not going to go that way because we understand that we have a God and there's a way to do things in His kingdom. We also help youth discover their talent and purpose. So I recall the one of the meetings where actually Mama Kate talked about building your career, understanding what you want to do, what your personality is like, and what kind of career you know you would best fit in. And we were asked to take a test. So this test also helped us understand, okay, this is my person, this is the kind of career that would fit me. And that way we're able to discover our talents, we're able to discover our purpose, and of course with so many other things that we do in SWI. Our goal is to raise an army of people who will take over the economy positively. So you can't do God's way of success. You can't be creative and excellent without taking over the economy in whatever aspect, in whatever field that you find yourself in. Once you apply all of these principles, you will definitely be a high flyer taking over the economy. Then we also want to help people ignite their potentials. I mean, we have people who have their residual potential, who have different things in them, but it takes someone to light the fire in them, and that's what we're here for at SWI. So I really hope I've been able to do justice to introducing ourselves to you. For those who have been a part of us, I'm sure you've seen this play out in different ways. But for those who are just joining us, this is just a bit of us. It would do you good to join our community and just get to know more about SWI from there. I'm sure we're going to have an amazing time today. So just open your heart, open your mind. If you don't have your pen, your paper, please just get it immediately so that you can, get the most of this meeting. And of course, we're live streaming on YouTube, so you can always catch a replay there. Thank you, Tolu.
Thank you so much, Olamide, for that. Like Olamide said, if you don't have a pen, if you don't have a paper, please get it because we are moving to the discussion part of the meeting. And as I mentioned earlier, today we'll be talking about career compass. So basically, the insights that will be shared today are insights that would help you navigate things irrespective of the level that you are career-wise. And if you're also a business person, please don't say please, some of these insights are things that you can also apply to build a successful business and also manage the people that work with you. And our speaker for today is none other person than our very own Mama Kate. She's an internal audit and advisory professional. I'm very sure that when she comes in, she will introduce herself better and you know her more. So please, with our clapping emojis, can we welcome her in the comment section? Good morning, Ma. Thank you for joining us.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Tolu, for having me. Thank you for bringing me here. I mean, this is sweet. This is my family. So it's always a privilege to share my knowledge and my experience with everyone. And I mean, just so you know, it's currently 6 a.m. where I am. And of course, for me to be looking, paying, it means that I had to get up like earlier to prepare myself and be here. So, and also coupled with the fact that I had a baby recently. So I've been, would I say sleep has been eluding me lately. So it's definitely a sacrifice, for me to be here at this time. But trust me, it's something that I would do over and over again for the SWI community. But I have just one ask from everyone that is attending this session today. And that's, I don't want you to just come for this session or just see this session as one of those sessions that, oh, let me attend this meeting. This is actually going to be a session that would require you to go back and put in some work, right? It will require you to go back and put in some work. And so my ask, and, I'm literally begging, is that we should make this time worth it. And the only way we can make this time worth it is if we go back and put in the work that is required. So, can I get some comments in the chat just confirming that you would put in the work? So that would encourage me. Maybe otherwise I could just go back and sleep at this time. So yes, please, just let me know that you would put in the work let me see that in the chat. Yes, okay, I will put in the work. Okay. Oh, thank you. I'm seeing the chat. Oh, I'm glowing. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. So let me share my screen. Oh, keep it coming. Thank you so much for that. Let me share my screen. I hope I have, I don't think I have the access to do that now. So Tolu or Olamide, please, if you can, give me access so I can share my screen. So while we're waiting for that, just let me know what your expectations are for this session. The topic we're discussing today is career compass. And yes, I would introduce I don't know if it's an introduction, but I'll share my career journey with you. I mean, I like telling stories when I'm teaching. So I'll share my career journey with you at some point in this session. So stay tuned till we get to that point. But before then, let me just know what your expectations are for this session. And if you can, please also let me know where you are in your career journey. I think that would also be helpful. Are you a student? Are you maybe are you a recent graduate? Are you doing your NYSC? I think I heard that, I heard someone say that. Are you currently out of a job and you're trying to get another one? Are you in the mid-career? Just let me know where you are in your career journey. So I'll try again. Can anybody hear me? Just to be sure that I'm not speaking to myself.
Yes, we can.
ma'am.
Okay, sounds good. I'm still not able to share. Please, if you can fix that in the back, I would appreciate it. So yeah, let me see your comments come in, please. Where are you? Are you a student? And
Yes,
what are
you
you
can share your screen
expecting?
now.
Okay, thank you. And what are you expecting for this session? So please let me know. I mean, not like I'm going to change my slides anyways, but it just, it would at least give me that comfort that this session is going to be useful for somebody. So can you see my screen now? Is my screen
Yes,
up?
we can. Yes, it is.
Okay, sounds good. Just trying to I won't put a chat by the side so I can still see it. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, yeah, I see a comment here, career transition. Okay, sounds good. Sounds good. Any other person? I mean, we're probably like 20-something on this call, so let me know. Oh, thank you so much for that. Someone says, I'm currently doing my NYSC and hoping to build a brand and hoping to get the clarity that I need concerning starting my career from this session. Okay, recent graduates, career transition. Okay, so I like that we have a mix, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to take something away from this session. So like I said, today, the topic is career compass, right? And so I'll just like to ask, sorry, I'm just, the chat is blocking my PowerPoint, but yes, okay, I think it's good now. Okay, so what is a career compass? Does anyone want to take a shot at this? What is a career compass? What do you think? Like when you hear the word career compass, what comes to your mind? What comes to your mind? Okay, I still see your comments. Thank you, thank you. I like the fact that we have the mix here, so that's good. So when you think of career compass, what comes to your mind? If you want to unmute yourself, I mean, please feel free to share. That's how we do in the breakfast meeting. I like to hear people talk, and if you're more comfortable with the chat, that's also fine. So when you hear the word career compass, I mean, what do you think?
Okay, so when I hear the word career compass, what comes to mind is I break it. What's a compass? A compass directs you, right? So kind of like a career direction or something that just tells you where to go, how to go about it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. I think we can go home now because Olamide has defined it and has told us basically what it is.
Mama
Okay, someone says
Kate.
compass. Someone says compass means guidance. Okay, perfect. So it's good that we have that, I'd say we have that knowledge on what the career compass is. So here, if you look at my definition, I said it's a guiding framework that helps you identify your career direction and goals. So for me, I like to think about it like your Google map, and I'm sure we all use our Google map. So personally for me, I don't know how to go anywhere without using my maps. right? And that's because it just gives me that confidence to know that I'm on the right track, even when I've never taken that path before, right? Because, when you look at a map, all I need is, even though I've never been there before, just give me your address, I'll put it in, and then I get on my journey. It tells me when to turn left. It tells me when to take a right turn. It tells me, when to take a detour, like, okay, maybe there's traffic in front, you have to get off that path and probably join another route or something. So it's something that is always handy for me whenever I'm going on any journey. And I remember there was a day I think it was in 2022 here in Ontario, Canada. There was a major shutdown in network that day, right? And it was funny because there was a major shutdown in network, and then that led to the roads being empty that day. Like, the roads were literally empty. And the only reason why I knew was because I was going out. I had planned to go out as well, and I was going to cancel that trip simply because I didn't have network on my phone. And so that means I was not going to access Google Map. But thankfully, the friend I was going out with had the offline version of the Google Maps downloaded, and that was the only way we could make it on that trip. But it was just so interesting to see that correlation, because people couldn't have access to Google Maps, they couldn't get on their journey. And so that's how important a career compass is. And so, like I said before, I'll be sharing my career journey with you at some point. So please stick around, and basically how I've applied the concept of a career compass to my own career. But first, I want us to discuss what the components of a good career compass is. And the first one would be your personality. And as much as possible, I'll try to relate it with our experience of the Google Map as well, right? So just like on your Google Map, right? Before you can start using it for your journey, it needs your starting location to be able to provide you directions. And so that starting location, for me, I liken your personality to that starting location. Knowing who you are is the first step. And I'm sure people that know me, you're probably tired of hearing me say this. Self-awareness is the first step to being able to chart a fulfilling career path for yourself. It's not possible to find a fulfilling career path or be in a fulfilling career if you don't first know who you are, right? And it's very simple. It's just because there is no career without you. So here I said, understanding your strengths, weaknesses, and your natural tendencies gives you insights into where you are, and it also helps you to choose a route that works best for you, right? So please, as I'm explaining this, just let your mind keep going back to how a Google Map works, right? And just think about it. You and a friend could be going to the same destination, right? For example, maybe someone is living in Lekki, another person is living in Ikeja, and you guys have agreed to meet at Surulere. You're going to the same destination, but because your starting point is different, you would most likely not get there at the same time, right? And you would have different experiences on your journey there, even though you have the same destination. So that's why you could have the same goal with someone else. But because you're starting at different points, and when I say different points, in terms of your unique personality, your life experiences, your route will be different. And what might take one person 1 year to achieve might take another person, say, 3 years to achieve. And that's okay, right? So in terms of your personality, it helps you to know the route, like I said, that works best for you. And in terms of when you discover your personality, and we'll talk more about that at the end, when you discover your personality, you'll be able to know, okay, this is the kind of work environment that I will be able to thrive in. So for example, you may discover that you're the kind of person that thrives in collaborative environment as opposed to working solitary, or you thrive in working in structured environments where you have clear expectations as opposed to, just spontaneous work environment. So basically, this understanding of who you are is very, very crucial in charting that fulfilling career path for yourself. And next would be your core values. Your core values. And, when I say core values here, I'm not talking about just it's not really, some people when people think about core values, they think about it just from the moral perspective. But this is not just the moral core values now. So I said here that core values are the principles that anchor your career. So just like a GPS, I mean, everyone has their GPS. That's the only way we can track you, and know even your Google Map. That's the only way your Google Map can work, because you have a GPS and it can identify where you are. So your GPS, it provides you what I call your positioning amongst the other things that your GPS does, but it provides you your positioning, which then guides you in how you move from one place to another. So your core values, I would liken your core values to that anchor that serves as a guiding principle for all your career decisions. It kind of shapes the deeper meaning behind why you make some career choices. And when you're able to identify what matters most to you in terms of these core values, you just find out that your career choices are in line with your core beliefs. And when this happens, you're most likely to feel fulfilled. Just like when you go on a journey that you wanted to be on. I mean, there's some times when you go on a journey and you really don't want to be there. And of course, the kind of feeling that would evoke. But if you're on a journey that you really want to be on, then you feel fulfilled. So for example, for someone, you might be, for you, it might be one of your maybe top core values might be impact. You may be, so you just want to help people. Of course, we all want to make impact, but that's why I say core here. That means it's top for you. So you might be thinking of, getting into the nonprofit space, for example. You might be thinking of looking for roles that will help you to contribute to the society meaningfully, charity and all of that, or even healthcare. Right. And simply because that's at your core, you want to make impact. At your core, you want to help people. Right. So it doesn't mean that, people that don't have that as a core value don't want to impact people, but that wouldn't necessarily be a career choice for them. Okay. So the third thing that I want us to look at will be your interest. And I liken interest to the fuel for your journey, right? And basically, your interests represent those things that you find engaging and exciting on a daily basis. Like you don't mind doing those things continuously. So for example, you could be someone that likes writing. There's some people that dread writing, right? But you could be someone that likes writing, or you could be someone that loves working with numbers, or you could spend all your time, just teaching away. Like you just want to teach. You love that. And so these are the activities that excite you, or it could also be topics that you're passionate about. So for example, some people, they're probably never even, been in a finance class before. Like, I mean, maybe education wise, like university, they're probably even in science class, but somehow they're very passionate about how the stock market works, right? So that's your interest. They can have that conversation the whole day, right? So some people might be interested in maybe data analysis, or you just enjoy solving puzzles and just figuring out how things work. So that kind of interest in terms of, solving puzzles, analyzing data could lead you to a career in data science or engineering. So like I said, your interest it reflects what energizes you and keeps you moving. Just the same way, if you don't have fuel in your car, no matter how beautiful your car is, no matter how, good your network is, no matter how you set your goals, if you don't have that fuel for your journey, you might not be able to go very far with that career path. And okay, so the next one here is preferences and priorities. Okay, so let me just share a quick story here. When I was at my previous workplace, right? I used to drive to the office sometimes on some days. So this time I think I had just resumed. So I wasn't really, would I say, familiar with that route. But I just knew that normally when I'm driving to the office, I always go on the highway. Like the 2 times or 3 times I had gone prior to this experience I'm about to share with you was always on the highway. It had never taken me, on the is it service lane now? Well, so I just noticed that this particular day, my map just kept taking me to the service lane. And I was like, what's going on here? I saw that the highway was free, but then it kept taking me to the service lane. And that day I was so frustrated. I remember I parked my car like somewhere on the road and I just tried to reroute, but still it was the same, street kind of driving, and I was moving from one city to another. So you can imagine what that would have done to, how long I spent on that journey. I was so frustrated that day. I got into the office very late because, I mean, the journey took longer than normal. So when I got to the office, I was like, okay, maybe something happened. And then when I was going back home in the evening, same thing happened. It didn't take me through the highway. It took me through streets, trying to connect two cities via like street and service lane. So I can't even explain my frustration to you. But when I got home that day, I just went to my map and I said, no, whatever this is, I must get to the root of it. And at last, I just went to the settings and saw that I had mistakenly checked the setting that says avoid highways. Guys, I don't know how like just imagine how that felt, knowing that it was just a click of a button that changed everything, that made me frustrated, made me get to work late. And the interesting thing is that while I enjoy driving on the highways, I know some people here, even in Canada, that do not enjoy driving on the highway. You will not catch them on the highways. They would be on those service lane. They would rather drive through straight, and that's okay. Like, as long as they get to their location and they're not feeling frustrated the way I was feeling. So, and that's how your preferences and priorities also determine the career choices we make, and ultimately how you feel, the fulfillment you get in your career. And so your preferences and priorities, basically, they help you tailor your career journey to fit your current life and whatever stage you're in your life. They just help you fit that that season you're in your life. So it could be maybe prioritizing work-life balance for you. It could be that you want to you're very ambitious, you want to climb up the career ladder quickly, you want to go on the fast lane. It could be that you're at this time, maybe based on your family situation, you're looking at flexibility in your career. You want a career where you'll be able to work remotely, just so that you can cater for maybe your young children or something. So basically, these are your choices, and they help you decide the conditions under which you want to pursue your career. And so I think I've given the example of you want to work a remote job because of your current career. So that explains that. But just know that there are different routes, right? And it's very important that when you're building your own career compass, you're able to determine the route that works best for you at that season of your life. Next would be your high power skills. Don't forget, we're talking about the component of a career compass, the things that, the things that you need to build, you need to have in place to be able to have that proper direction for your career journey. So the next will be the high power skills. And I liken the high power skills to your vehicle, right? So, I mean, Isaac is on this call. He can tell you that not all cars are, perform the same way. There are some cars that, even without being knowledgeable on cars, there's some rickety cars that if you drive, unfortunately, you will not get to your destination. You will probably get there, but you get there with, some court cases, all of that. So, yeah. So your high power skills are your vehicles, right? And just like any type of vehicle that you choose, it will affect your speed, it will affect the ease of your journey, and it also affect how quickly and efficiently you can, progress in your career. So, for example, when we say high power skills, these are not all your skills. These are skills that they're your forte. Like it's what would I put it now? It's your cake. Like, this is something that if you want to talk about things that you're good at, things that you naturally have, then this is where you list them. So, for example, you may be somebody that naturally you have the ability to plan, to coordinate, and just manage tasks effectively. That could be it could make you very well suited for a role in project management, where you have to be a planner to be in project management. I think at this time I want to see Ajayi. I'm sure if you know Bayo, he's the king of project management. Trust me, I live with him and he's an avid planner. So this is not something that came up just because he's in project management. Actually, he went into project management because this is a skill that he naturally has, and he's excelling very well in that space. So someone else might be, you might be that spontaneous person. You want to work without any structured planning. You just want to be a creative. Trust me, I don't think you should. I mean, I'm not saying you will not be good enough in the product management space, but that might not be something that would align with who you are as a person. So I think we have one more in terms of the components, which would be your goals. And that would be like we can liken this to your destination. And I don't know if many of us use that feature on Google Maps, where you probably have like multiple stops that you want to make before you get to the final destination. I like the fact that you can add different stops, on the same journey. I don't have to go back to Google Maps to now enter the other location. So you can add multiple stops. And for me, that's how your goals are. You have your short-term goals, you have your long-term goals, all of that. You're able to, put all of that in your Google Maps. And so what this does is that it helps you stay focused, and it also just ensures that you don't lose sight of your long-term vision. And it's very important that you identify what your short-term goals are and what your long-term goals are. So, for example, it could be that you want to go into product management. Your short-term goal could be that you want to earn a certification in project management, while your long-term goal could be that, you want to be I think it's called the, what's it called now? The PMO lead. Please pardon me. I haven't gotten my PMP certification yet, but I think I'm talking about the person that leads the product management office. So you could have that as a long-term career that you want to rise in your career. And I won't spend too much time on this because our president, again, Ajayi Ajayi, has been sharing practical content with us all through this month on goal setting on his YouTube channel. So please feel free to catch them on his YouTube channel. I think it's Excellence with Adebayo. And so in a nutshell, your career compass should clearly highlight these things. It should highlight your personality, that is where you naturally thrive. You should highlight your core values. These are the principles, like I said, that guide your decisions. You should also highlight your interest, that is what you enjoy doing. And you should highlight your high power skills, what your strongest abilities are, your preferences, which is how you want to work. And it should also highlight your goals, that is where you are headed and how you get there. I hope we're still here. Let me know if you're still here. Please let me see in the chat that you're still here. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. Okay, so at this point, let me just say this, that there is no single correct career path, right? What may be applicable for A may not be applicable for B. So you have to be ready to chart your own career path. You have to be ready to put in the work and, build your compass and cut that career path that would work best for you. Okay, so I'm sure by now, just even from looking at the components, you can see how important it is to have a career compass and how it would make no sense to head out on your journey without one. So let's just run through why you need a career compass. Clearly, it helps you, it provides clear direction for you. You're able to make confident career moves without, you're not just, hopping from one career to another. You know exactly where you're going and what to do to get there. It also supports informed decisions. Same thing, you're not where you're supposed to, if you were using a Google map, you probably should be turning left, but maybe because you're not using one, you're turning right, or you are beckoning on that uncle on the street to tell you, please, how can I get to this place? And I don't know why people do that thing, but I remember that you ask someone on the road for direction. Instead of them to tell you they don't know what you're talking about, they now tell you, oh, go down. When you get down, you turn left. When you turn left, when you get to the end of the street, you turn right again, I mean, you don't need that. If you had a career compass, your own career compass, you wouldn't go through all that aimless moves. And then it also aligns your personal values, your skills, your interests. It just aligns everything with your professional goal. And one thing why I like this, the concept of a career compass, is that no matter what stage you're in your career, whether you're just starting out your career or you're considering a job change, maybe within the same field, but probably moving to another company, or you're trying to make a total career pivot, like you want to change the path that you've been on, or you're even just trying to upskill yourself, a career compass will offer you insights on what would best align with you at that point. And finally, the alignment with who you are based on the clarity that you already have about yourself in terms of all the components we just discussed would help you to avoid an unfulfilling career. So we'll talk more about an unfulfilling career in the next slide. But I just want to say that if you wouldn't drive to a place you've never been to successfully without a map, why then do you think you'll be able to go on your career journey without a guide? So trust me, if you don't have one, you're missing out on all the benefits and you may never get to your destination, like I said. And even if you get to your destination, a journey that could have been 20 minutes could end up taking you 1 hour. So I hope I'm able to, I'm doing a good job at selling the idea of you having a career compass to you. And so let's just quickly talk about what an unfulfilling career is. And we're getting closer to when I'll share my career story. But what is an unfulfilling career? I mean, in the simplest terms, or the most simple term I could think of, is a career that makes you constantly dissatisfied or unhappy. The word constantly, like you're constantly dissatisfied, you're constantly unhappy. That's what I would call an unfulfilling career. And I like this quote by Steve Jobs, where he says, your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. So we spend most of our waking days at work, probably 1/3 of our lives. So it makes no sense to be unhappy for that amount of time. And I mean, I'm not trying to judge you or castigate you at this point, because there's so many reasons why a lot of us may be in a career that is making us dissatisfied or unhappy. And trust me, when you hear my story, I've also been there. And it's possible you ended up in this career because you were, trying to meet up with the expectations set by other people, maybe your parents, or maybe based on your academic performance, you just think that, oh, you can't get something better than that. Or it could even be because of a financial situation. You need this money that this job is paying you, and so you're just there because of that financial situation. And it could also be that career, that is now making you unhappy, constantly dissatisfied and unhappy, may not have been unfulfilling from the beginning. It could just be that you're in a different season of your life and you've evolved. But the bottom line is that you're constantly unhappy in that career, and there's no green light, basically. And just in case you are not sure if you're in an unfulfilling career, I want us to just look at some major pointers that would help you know that you're in a career that is constantly making you unhappy, or a career that is unfulfilling for you. And as we go through, I want you to follow along and just reflect on if any of this applies to you. So the first one is you're not enjoying your career. And for me, this is one of the clearest signs of an unfulfilling career, when you don't enjoy what you do. Like I said, you're there for, 8 hours of your day or more, in fact, but you're not enjoying what you do. You take no pleasure at all in what you're doing. Of course, I'm not saying that you would love every moment of your career. No, that's not what I'm saying. But overall, how are you feeling about this? So are you, is the thought of going to work just draining you, and is it taking away any excitement that you have? Then trust me, that's a red flag that you're in a career that you shouldn't be in. Secondly would be constant stress or burnout. So we all have days at work when, we may need to give in more hours than normal, but when that becomes the norm, then that is an issue. If you're frequently experiencing overwhelm, exhaustion, anxiety, frustration, then this is a clear indication that you're currently in an unfulfilling career. I think it was yesterday, my husband sent me, I think it was a story of a girl who started working for one of the top companies in the world. And about 4 months, she started, I think, about 4 months ago, and she died. And she died because she was constantly stressed and burnt out. What I saw was the letter her mom wrote to that company because, of course, her mom knew how she was getting stressed, constantly overworking herself. And I mean, it was so sad for me, and it was very relatable because I was at this point of my life just a little over a year ago before I made the decision to do what was best for me. And yeah, I mean, you see that when I share my story as we go along. So yes, that is, oh yes, I think someone else saw that story. I can see someone saying barely 26 years old. Yes, very, very sad. So you can know that what we are discussing is actually a matter of life and death. Like, it is very serious. You shouldn't take it for granted. You shouldn't take it, with levity. The third will be unmet needs. So if your job or your career path is not meeting your basic financial or your lifestyle needs with no potential for that in sight, it's likely unfulfilling. So you constantly feel underpaid, in terms of your financial need, or you're constantly feeling underpaid, like I said, or you're just having a clash in your values. For example, work-life balance. You're the kind, some people, funny enough, some people like working, right? But maybe for you, you like your friendships, you want to hang out with your friends, and somehow the career path you've chosen is not allowing that. Then it could be a pointer to a job or career misalignment. Sorry, just trying to read. Okay, I can see someone saying I had to reconsider my consulting goal. I had to reconsider my consulting goal. Oh, after that post. Oh, very sad. Trust me. And then I think the last one here would be lack of growth. So if you're feeling stagnant or underutilized at work, or you're not working from your strength, I mean, you might not be unhappy, but just that you're not utilizing all your strength, you're not utilizing your skill. This is another clear sign that you're in a job that is not fulfilling. And if you're not developing yourself, or you're feeling challenged in your job or your career path, you may be stuck in a dead-end career. And I don't want that to be, to be for anyone here. You may just be stuck in that career if you're not growing, you're not building any skills, you're just there, like you're paid. They probably might even be paying you so much, right? But you're not growing, and maybe you're not also spending some time to develop yourself outside work. You'll probably be stuck in a dead-end career. So you should always feel like your work should always stretch you. It should always allow you to build on your skills, on your strength. So if this is not happening, then it might be time for you to reconsider your path. Okay, I think I have one more here, and that's on minimal impact. So we all want our work to be meaningful, and we all want to feel like we are making a positive impact in our society. But if your work does not allow you to do that, it's likely not aligned with your deeper goals or values, and it will be hard for you to find fulfillment. So even if you feel like, or rather, even if they're paying you so much at your work, if you don't feel like you're contributing to something meaningful, you will not be fulfilled. I mean, I've seen people, I'm not saying that would be a portion here, but I've seen people, that high-paying people, commit suicide, right? I'm not saying it's only their career that, led to that, but trust me, that could be a huge part. Because I remember I've seen a post on someone, a top director in a company, that committed suicide in his office, right? So it might, and he, of course, a director, he's getting, well, so much, I mean, he's getting highly paid, right? So please I hope you were reflecting along. I mean, there may be other signs, but these were the major ones that I could think of. So I hope you are reflecting and, just thinking through if you're in an unfulfilling career path. And now, yes, it's time to share my story. So for me, I personally like learning from people's experiences. I mean, I read books, of course, you see the theory and all of that, but I really enjoy hearing other people's experience. So I just want to take a break here to share my career journey with you, and how I've been able to use the concept of the career compass to make critical decisions at major points in my career. And that moved me from dissatisfied and feeling unhappy to feeling fulfilled. So let's start here. Deciding that a career in biochemistry was not for me. So I've always had a science background. When I was in high school, I was in science class. I also studied biochemistry in university, and I graduated with a good grade. Oh, thank you so much. So I graduated with a good grade. If I recall correctly, I think it was a 4.2 out of a 5 CGPA. So, I mean, I did pretty well in school. But during my internship in my 3rd year, I worked in a medical laboratory, and that was when I realized that a career in biochemistry was not a fit for me. I didn't have a passion for the laboratory work at all for various reasons. And we think about the repetitive experiments we're always doing, same thing. Secondly, I was always working alone with barely any human interaction. Now, I'm an introvert, but I mean, that got to me. And for me, it just wasn't exciting for me. And so when I got back to school, I knew that I was not going to pursue this. And even when I graduated and I had the opportunity to, or possibly getting a job as a biochemist at a top FMCG, when I graduated, I didn't take it. I remember I also had the opportunity, my project supervisor, he was the dean of postgraduate studies at the time. He also, and I was one of his best students. He wanted me to come back and do my master's. And I had the opportunity to get a fully funded scholarship for my master's in biochemistry, but I declined pursuing both opportunities at that time because I didn't want it. So at that time, I knew what I wanted, but I wasn't sure what I didn't want. Sorry, I knew what I did not want, but I wasn't sure what I wanted. But at least I was sure that I didn't want a career in, biochemistry. And so, that leads me to the next phase of my life. So after my NYC, and I mean, for those that are not Nigerians on this call, the NYC is the mandatory National Youth Service Corps program for Nigerian graduates. So after my NYC, some other opportunities opened up for me, right? I remember I declined going to the final stage of an interview at an insurance company in Nigeria. I had passed the aptitude test. I had passed the first stage of the interview. But I declined going for the final one, which was more like a tick the box because it was just for us to meet the CEO at that time. And I declined it because during the first interview, everything went well. And then when it got to do you have any questions for us? I just asked them, what would a typical day look like? It was a graduate training role. So, it wasn't really clear what I was going to be doing. But when I asked, they explained to me, oh, you're young, you're vibrant, we'll need you out in the field. You need to sell insurance to individuals, you need to go to companies, you need to sell insurance and all of that. So basically, I realized that role was going to be a graduate training in sales, and I'll be required to sell insurance. For me, I knew I did not want a role that was focused primarily on me meeting sales targets or one that would prioritize me closing transactions over genuinely helping customers based on what they actually need. So I did not bother going for, the next stage. And so I remember an opportunity came up at that time, just when I finished my NYC, for a customer service role at Jumia. That's the biggest e-commerce company in Nigeria, just like you have your Amazon here. I knew that role for me was most likely going to be temporary because at that point, again, I still was not sure what I wanted to do, but it was better than nothing. And it wasn't something that I hated. So I like the idea of the customer service role because naturally I consider myself to be a cautious person. And I also have the ability to understand and empathize with other people. Also, there was that sense of fulfillment and satisfaction for me that just came from solving customers' problems. So even though at that point, I think a small portion of my work required me to sell to customers whenever they called into the customer service, maybe to ask for anything, I didn't mind because, it was just a small part. I still appreciated the opportunity that at least I was going to learn how to, persuade people without that pressure of that being my primary role. And I remember that I was consistently recognized as one of the top scorers for, I think we used to call it quality champion then, for my quality interactions with the customers. But I never got top scores for sales, but I was okay with that. And so please, I hope you're enjoying my story, or you're just, or are you just glued? Because I'm not seeing any comment. Okay. Thank you. Okay. And so fast forward to about a year later, why is my slide not coming up? Okay. Fast forward to about a year later in my customer service role, I started to feel uneasy and unchallenged. Like there was more for me, but I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I started to reflect again. At this time, I remember I spent a lot of time soul searching. I took a number of personality and career assessment tests, and those helped me clarify my personality in terms of my strengths, my weaknesses, what I was interested in, what I was, would I say, the things that I valued, my core values. It even helped me know the kind of work environment that I wanted to be in. I remember telling myself, amongst, of course, other things, that I wanted to walk in one of those high-rise buildings I'd seen in movies where I could, strut into the office with my beautiful dress and my heels. I was able to explore, have all of that in my mind, right? Of course, I also documented. So anyways, at this point, after doing all the assessment, I realized that I might be a better fit in the management side. Remember, I've always been in science. At that point, I had never for once been in a commercial class or taken any, business related class, of course, apart from business studies that we had in the junior years of high school. So, but I realized that I had good problem solving skills and I could use this skill to solve business problems. So at that point, I started considering going for my master's program in management. So I saw a master's program in management, and that was because I wanted to bridge that gap of my science background with this new path that I wanted to take. And also just make me a marketable candidate whenever I applied for jobs in the management line, because they will always ask you, you're in sciences, why are you considering this? So I got an admission for a master's in management at Nottingham University at that time. On the other hand, I was still researching specific career paths and still also taking specific career assessments. And it was in one of those assessments I did that I came, as part of my results, and it just came up with a list of careers that would work for me. I saw, that was when I saw the audit career for the first time. And, I was just checking the definitions of all the careers that it brought for me as things that could align with me. Some of them I was like, no, this assessment is wrong. But when I saw audit, I checked the definition, and guys, it was like a match made in heaven for me. So for those that are not in that field, an audit is basically a thorough check of a company's finances or their process to ensure that there's accuracy or to identify mistakes or problems and, just recommend solutions on how they can make things better, and also maybe complying with some standards or laws. So for me, some of the reasons why it aligned to me is, personally, I value integrity a lot as a core value. I mean, in terms of the moral compass, but also in terms of ensuring that the quality of something is not compromised. For people that have worked closely with me, that, sometimes I'm like, Kate, it's like, I need to stop training my, stop picking mistakes, because for me, that's like the first thing I see. When you send me maybe a document, like my eyes just goes to that thing. I'm like, no. Let's correct this. Let's correct this. So for me, it's like ensuring that the quality of something is not compromised. It could be a process, because I just believe strongly that if a company, for example, has been producing quality, maybe items, and they have a process, the only thing that will make that thing, a product come out of that process bad is if something has gone wrong with that process. So for me, I want to ensure that the quality of that process is not compromised. And that's something I value at my core. This is not, because of any training or anything. This is just one of my own core values. Secondly, I'm a very meticulous person, and I pay, a great deal of attention to detail. Like I said before, I enjoy solving problems. I also enjoy working with numbers and analyzing information. And also I love, that systematic and structured environment. For me, it aligned with my strengths, it aligned with my skills and values. And I just strongly feel that, I could do it. And remember, an audit is, you need an accounting background for an audit. But so even if I didn't have an accounting background, I'd never been in an accounting class, I just somehow knew that, this audit career was for me. And then the icing on the cake for me was when I saw the companies that did audit big time in Nigeria had those high-rise buildings, So for me, it was like, oh, I could finally fulfill my dream of dressing up in my heels, in my beautiful dress to go to work. It was just very perfect for me. Anyway, long story short, I spoke to my husband, who was, of course, my boyfriend at the time. This was like a year or so after NYC. And then he encouraged me to pursue that path. I remember at that time, he connected me with one of his friends who was working in one of those companies that I was looking to get into. And this person also had a science background, but had transitioned into audit. So I spoke to that person at that time. He shared some things with me on what to expect, and just having that conversation with him just alleviated some of my fears. And so during my interview, I was able to market my strengths, my values, all of those that I had discovered based on the self-assessment that I had engaged in. I was able to market them even when I did not have that accounting background. I was also able to sell the skills I gained from my customer service role during the interview. And that was how I landed my first audit role with one of the big 4 professional service firms in the world. This was in 2016, right? And I think I spent over 6 years in the professional service industry. And trust me, I was doing very well. I was constantly bagging high ratings on my engagement. And even when I moved to a new country about, I think 2 years ago now, I was still getting those recognitions. And so after I had my first child in 2019, but I resumed work in 2020, I started noticing signs that I was no longer feeling fulfilled, right? Even though I was doing very well at work, I was getting recognitions, I was getting promotions, I was solving problems, and I was actually still loving the work I was doing. My husband cannot understand this. How can you be loving something that is, causing you so much stress and so much exhaustion? But I still loved the work I was doing, but I was constantly exhausted. I was burnt out. I was unhappy. I was stressed beyond what you can think of. It was really taking a toll on my physical and mental well-being. So I recall, I think it was in 2022, my family traveled out of the country for Christmas, and I was going to take my laptop. This was me going on it was a proper vacation. I was not absconding from work. I took a proper vacation, but I was going to still take my laptop because I had so much work to do. But my husband said, no, you're not taking this laptop. And so I had to promise him I didn't take the laptop. But I remember on that trip, I kept having panic attacks, because I had so much work on my plate with very, very tight deadlines. I knew that, when I come back from this vacation, there was all of this was waiting for me. So I didn't enjoy the trip, right? And then at this point, it just felt like my whole life was all about work. I had other desires that I wanted to pursue, but I couldn't pursue any of them. I was not able to give quality attention to my family and the other areas of my life that I valued. And so it was causing these huge conflicts within my soul. And, at that point, it was a clear sign that I needed to move, And I wish I could tell you that I moved immediately. I started to notice these signs in 2020, but no, I didn't. I think I did about 2+ years again, hoping that things would get better, but they only got worse. And so I actually started considering a new path in 2021, but I still didn't take things seriously until 2023, where I said, you know what, enough is enough. And then I intentionally included this as part of my top priorities for 2023. So I started by identifying the several parts. Of course, like I said, I already had my career compass. I already knew, my skills. I already knew my strengths, my weaknesses, my natural tendencies. I knew all of that. So I started identifying the several paths that I could also take based on my experience at the Big Four. And I'm glad, I'm glad I had that experience because it opened me to a wide range of paths that I could go on. I remember I said I still liked the work I was doing. So, but I started researching. I started connecting with people that were in those fields, and I settled for one that was most aligned with me, and that was internal audit. But it had to be internal audit specifically at an industry that wasn't fast-paced, right? Because I could still get into the situation I was trying to get out of. So I had that clarity. And for me, it was the fact that I did that self-work and I had that clarity that this is what I wanted. I wanted internal audit, but specifically at an industry that wasn't fast-paced. So that gave me the opportunity to still do the audit that I loved while enjoying some balance with my personal life and professional life. And I resumed that job in June last year, and it's been amazing so far. But then the journey continues. So that's where I am now in my career journey, but it continues. It's a cycle. The career journey, your career path is not a destination. It's a journey. I hope you enjoyed my story. Tolu or Olamide, if you could tell me let me know how long I still have. I think I still have about 5 slides to cover. So let me know if I still have some time. But I hope, it wasn't just a story. I hope you're able to pick out the salient points that led to those critical decisions at those different points in my career. And, one of the reasons why I wanted to share my story with you is because like I said before, I found myself in unfulfilling career situations at different points. And, I've also shared the things I did to get out of those situations. So I can totally relate with some of the emotions that you might be feeling and why you've probably not done anything about your current situation, right? And some of the emotions I felt, it could be the fear of change. And this, I think, is a major one. Many people stay in unfulfilling careers out of fear, fear of the unknown, fear of failure, fear of leaving job security, and, just fear of starting over, especially if you've stayed that long. I remember this was something that was, that I had because I had been in my, the audit career for, I think I had been there for over 6 years. So I had that fear of starting over. I was so good at my work. People liked me. Even at the point that I left just before I was going to get a promotion. And it was very intentional because I was like, no, you're not going to trap me again with this promotion. That was, for me. But trust me, that fear can paralyze you and it will make you not explore opportunities that you need to take. And just sticking to what you know will cause you constant dissatisfaction. And, when you look back in the long term, you just start regretting, I should have made this earlier. I should have made this change earlier. Trust me, I know what it feels like. Okay. I'll try to rush this now. I see that I have just a few minutes left. Okay, so it could also be, external pressures, maybe family expectations and all. And, if you're making a career choice based on external pressures like family expectations, financial obligations, that might also make you choose a career that does not align with your interest. And it could also be that you've neglected personal development for such a long time. When you don't invest in your growth, it will lead to stagnation in your careers. You'll be in a career that no longer challenges or excites you. And it could also be that you're holding on to some limiting beliefs. You just believe that where you are is the best you can be. You just believe that you don't have the skills or the experience to pursue a career that your heart truly desires. And, that just keeps you from trying to move forward. And I think this is the last final point on, some of the emotions that you're feeling. It could just be that you don't have clarity. And just like we've talked about, you don't have clarity of all the components that we've talked about. And so you will struggle to find a meaningful career. But that's why we're talking about the career compass. And it can provide, the career compass, like we've identified, can provide you direction to, that you need to breaking out of unfulfilling roles. So how do we get on the path of fulfillment? Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because honestly, you're going to do the work. And I've graciously, worked on a career compass worksheet that will be sent to everyone that registered. And it's free. It's free. So I'll send this to, our team will send this to everyone that registered for this program. So I'm just going to, go through the steps that you need to follow, but you would see more detailed explanations, in that worksheet. So the first step is to create your career compass, right? You need to create your career compass. It's like I said, it's very personal. I can't create your own for you. You can't use mine. So your career progress and fulfillment is in your hands. And once we share this with you, please, just get to it. So keep an eye on your inbox. That should go out maybe sometime next week. So keep an eye on your inbox, right? But then developing a career compass would require you to spend some time reflecting on each component of your career compass and documenting your findings. Don't just have it in your head. Write that down. Sometimes, I have a note on my phone, and I'm sure I've created that note for a very long time now. So anything I discover about myself, I just dump it in that note. Oh, okay, I think I like, I'm a very organized person and I like, things to be organized. I put it there. I think that I don't like when people lie to me. I put it there, anything I just discover about myself that, that really hits me at my core. It's not everything in life that is important to me, but when I discover those things, I write it there. So also, this is a good time, if maybe you're in a career that is not fulfilling for you, this is a good time to reflect on your current and past experiences as well. What did you enjoy about your past job? What did you not like about your current or your past job? What don't you like about it? It's a time to reflect on it and document them. Also, you will need to, like, I'm sure you heard it in my story, I took some assessment, right? So I would also be suggesting some assessment in that worksheet that you should take, or not you should, but you can consider taking, just so that you can get further insight into your personality. Of course, you know yourself better. So the assessment might not be 100%, but at least it will give you those insights. The other thing would be to connect with other people. You also heard how this helped me in my story. And there's this quote by, I think it was Richard Branson, where he says that your network can provide you insights and opportunities that help you make better career decisions and navigate your career more effectively. So just identify and reach out to experienced professionals in the field that you desire, and just have a chat with them, get an insight into that field, and just know. Sometimes that conversation will just help you diminish all the fears that you have, all the fears, the limiting beliefs that you have about yourself. It would help you. And then you could also join industry-specific groups. So when I made that pivot to internal audit, trust me, internal audit is nothing like external audit. So yeah, they have the audits, but they're different. So when I made that pivot, that was one of the things I did. I saw a community of internal auditors and I joined the group. So I'm always like getting, updates, getting templates, getting, all those things that would help me, get familiar with this new career that I was trying to get into. And also you should attend, industry events regularly. So basically just connect with people. God did not design for us to do life by ourselves, right? There's this quote by Jim Rohn where he says, your level of success will rarely exceed your level of your personal development, because success is something that you attract by the person you become. So you need to develop yourself. Identify the gaps that you have in your current skills and those that you need for your ideal career, and invest in professional development. And you have to be very intentional about this. You need to determine a frequency that will work for you and set aside time to develop your skills. It's not good enough that you just have those skills that you want to develop on the goal that you set for the year. No, you need to intentionally plan it, plug it. In January, this is what I would take. In April, this is what I would do. Intentionally determine that frequency for yourself. And if you've also determined that the current job you're working on is not aligned with you, then it's time to develop your transition plan, right? So do you have to leave your job immediately? Is it so toxic that you need to leave immediately? Do you have what it takes to sustain yourself for like 6 months, pending when you get a new job? Do you need to go back to school, or, will you be schooling part-time or you're working part-time? So basically just develop a clear transition plan. But the thing is, you can't get to this if you don't have clarity on those things we talked about earlier. Also, you may need to be open to new opportunities and unplanned opportunities as well. And you have to be resilient while waiting for what you want, because you might not get it straight away. But one thing that you should know is that you don't have to make a final decision on your career path based on the first job you land. No, you don't have to be stuck. The earlier days of your career gives you that opportunity to explore. So be open-minded. Be open-minded. Don't get yourself stuck just because you got a job in that field. Here, view failures as learning experience rather than roadblocks. Trust me, there will be detours and setback at some point, and everyone experiences them. I've had my fair share of setback in my career as well. So, but don't let that be a showstopper. Fail forward. Don't pressurize yourself. And I always say that nothing will ruin your 20s or even your 30s more than thinking that you should already have your life together, like at this time. No, like you still have many more years ahead of you. Don't be so under pressure that you need to be on a career path. You need to get on a career path. No, don't let that pressure get to you. Otherwise, you won't make a good decision. And then revisit your career compass regularly. Now, you've seen that it's not your career journey is not static. You need to revisit it because you're going to grow. You would evolve. So you need to adjust that compass necessary. Just like in my story, I loved audits. Like that was my dream. But at 6 years down the line, it was no longer working for me. And then I had to make a switch. So don't just do it once and think that it's schedule time as well to revisit it regularly. If you have to do that, maybe with an accountability partner or something, or a mentor or a coach, just ensure that you're revisiting it regularly. And finally, let God in. I will be doing you a disservice if I left this out because trust me, this has been one of the major influences in my career, the God factor. God is interested in every detail of our lives. How much, especially the fact that your career even takes up so much from your life. It takes up, 1/3 of your life now. So if you've shut God out, thinking that he doesn't care, he wouldn't care about, my career is not a spiritual thing, in quote, it's time to let him in because he really does care about it. And the fact that he sees the end from the beginning means that you can absolutely trust him with your career. And so here are my final thoughts. Don't wait until you're facing a career crisis to create your career compass. Start now. And if you're already in the middle of a career crisis, it's never too late to get back on track. Just start today and take control of your career. And just know that, you will grow, and that's fine. Your values, your skills, your preferences, your interests, all of those components that we looked at will change. It would evolve as you grow, and that's also fine. But what is not fine is for you to keep sticking around the old, especially when it keeps draining you and making you unhappy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you so much. I personally learned a lot. Can we please have our thank you in the chat box? Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Mama Kate. Celebrate you. We love you. Thank you, Ma. So if you have any questions, please feel free to unmute. Or you can also drop it in the chat box so she can answer some of the questions. If you have any question, please drop it in the chat, but you can also unmute. Anybody? Questions?
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Hi, good morning.
So I have a question. First of all, I want to say thank you so much to Market. Like I literally just got answers to a lot of questions. Okay, so in this work life, I mean career life or field, I don't know what to call it. How do we explain confidence and pride? So recently I got an offer, and because I got an offer that I did not apply for, I was really scared of asking a lot of questions, or I was just in this whole feeling of, oh, I got this offer, oh, I have to take it, and without even knowing so much about it. And when I got to know, the details about the offer and everything, I'm now reconsidering a lot of things, and I'm like, okay, so won't I look like, who does she think she is, or should I just, I don't know, like what's the difference between being confident in this career part or word and having pride, because I just don't want to look like, she's so full of herself or we are doing her a favor. Please, do you understand? I don't know the best way to say.
I perfectly understand you. Can I call you B Cakes? Is that your name or is that your business name?
Blessing, sorry.
Oh, Blessing. Okay. Oh no, it's
Blessing.
okay. I perfectly understand you. And I'll say the difference between confidence and what you say pride for me is clarity. It's clarity. And I think if, in my story as well, I shared of how I had a job offer. Like, okay, I didn't get the job offer because, of course, I declined the final interview, right? But the reason why I did that was clarity. When I started the interview process, I had no idea that, this was what it was going to be about. But as soon as I had an idea what the role was going to be about, I declined the next stage, right? So one thing I learned from, my previous workplace, they'll always say, your career is in your hands. You are the driver of your career. Don't permit me to use this word, don't give a damn about what anybody says. It's your career. Like you're literally the driver of your own journey. So you don't have to care about what anybody says. It's your fulfillment, it's your journey, and you should, get on that journey in a way that makes you happy. As long as, you have clarity on what you want and why you did not go for this path. Like, you don't have to apologize for that decision. It's not pride, it's nothing. Like, in fact, I love that for you, because it shows that you know what you want, right? And you're going for it. So yes, it's not pride. I hope that answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome, Blessing.
Thank you, Blessing. Thank you, Mama Kate. Hi, Temi. You can ask your question.
Okay, thank you. Hi, good morning from here.
Good morning.
So my question first, thank you so much, Ma. This session was quite insightful. So I have two questions. First question is that if you are still trying to find your career path, and maybe you are doing a current job that you currently enjoy, and you're thinking maybe there's something here for me, and you have the opportunity maybe to study, maybe scholarship, and then you're like, okay, should I stay or should I go? This is something that I think can be something for me. But if I decide to, take this next level, which is maybe a master's or a PhD, I don't know what's out there for me. How do you conquer that fear, that territory that, okay, you can still find something out there for you that aligns with what you currently do? Because, a lot of things are out there and you don't know what the next step is. That's the first one. The second one is, how do you align your pay with the job that you enjoy? So some times ago, I got a job that I really did like, but the pay was quite low. And then there was one that the pay was, we still have to look at pay, knowing that sometimes some of us come from a home that might not be so supportive, right? So you're looking at the pay, and you're also looking at the career growth for you. How do you align that together? Do you say, okay, maybe I want to spend 5 years here because I know, or 2 years, or maybe 6 months because I know it will grow, but I'm not sure that when it comes to salary growth, there must be something there for me, especially if you work with a startup and you know that it might take a while, unlike a corporate firm. How do you align that together? So that's my second question, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. So that's from Temi, right? Okay. So first question was around, you have a scholarship to go for a master's, and, you're currently in a job that you're not sure if it's, your career path, but you're currently enjoying it. So I'll take you back to my story as well. So when I wanted to move to audit, I applied for a master's in management, and I think I got some scholarship as well. Yeah, I got, it was a partially funded scholarship. But then I knew the reason why I wanted to take that offer, right? It was because I wanted to be able to, appeal, make myself marketable to my employers. I wanted to just, just basically be marketable when I'm interviewing with them, to let them know that, okay, see, even though I have a science background, I've gone ahead to, take a master's in management and all of that. But I didn't end up going for the master's program because I was able to get that job that I wanted without having the master's program. I remember during the interview, one of the interviewers asked me that question, that, okay, you have this background and all of that. So I exactly what I did, I told them, I said, I actually have a master's offer in management right now. So if I don't get this job, that will most likely be my next path. I will just go, do my master's in management and come back and apply. Maybe that by then I would have what you need. So what I would say is, it goes back, and like I said, this career compass is something that you would need to sit down, and it also helps you, not just with your career, even when you want to upskill, when you want to take an education, it helps you to know what would be important for you. If this master's program that you're going to get a scholarship in, if it's going to be beneficial for your journey, why not? You can go for it. I also mentioned in my story that I actually declined an offer for a fully funded scholarship in biochemistry, in the biochemistry field, because I knew that it was not even in line with my plan. But if you know that this scholarship that you have with, is going to be good for you, and, you have what it takes to sustain yourself, please, like, go for it. But if you don't think it's going, like if you've done your assessment, you've sat down, you've done the reflection, you've done these exercises that we've talked about today, and you don't think that master's program, that particular course is going to be relevant for you, then, I mean, I wouldn't, personally, based on my own experience and based on what I did, I wouldn't take the offer if I know that this is clearly not going to add any value to me. And secondly, I hope I remember the question now. I think you mentioned something about pay. You know, you're in a job. Did you say you're enjoying that job or you're not?
No, you're not really enjoying that job. You're just looking at the first one, you're enjoying it, but the pay is quite small. But the second one, not really, but the pay is okay. And you're looking at should you stay for the pay because of I mean, you currently need to support yourself and your family as well. That how do you align it together or find a source purpose in that place, even though the pay is okay or something?
Okay, and what will be the alternative? So the pay is much, right? And you're considering staying, even though it's not really what you enjoy. So what's the alternative to that?
Maybe
Would
moving
it be
to
for you
something that
to?
the pay is not so much, but maybe you feel like there's a career growth there. And
Okay.
do you have to give yourself a time space? Okay, I know that the pay is not okay yet, but I know, should I give myself a year to grow here? This or
So
2
is
years
there,
to grow?
so that thing you want to move to that, you know, you're saying that is what you enjoy, but the pay is not much. Is there a potential for the, you know, to get to a point where the pay is going to meet your needs? Is there a potential
No,
for that?
it's not looking like that anytime soon.
Is it because of you or because of that field?
I think it's the field, especially when you work with a startup, they are still trying to find a lot of things within the organization. Unlike a corporate firm that's already established and they have, okay, this is where you need to get to, and then you get a pay rise.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think I see what you're saying. So it's not necessarily the career field, it's the company that you're working with.
Yes.
Not necessarily the career field. So your career is not tied to any company. Like if you're working in a company and it's not meeting your needs, it was part of the things we listed. If it's not meeting your needs financially or, you know, in terms of what aligns with you, then it's time it's time to, you know, take this assessment, go through this process and start looking out. You're not tied to a company. You're not the CEO of that company. You're not the you know, you probably don't even have shares in that company. So you're not tied to it. You should make the decision based on what's best for you. And if it's not meeting your needs without the potential to meet your needs, it's just a company. You might still like what you're doing, but you can always get it in another place. And if you think that, okay, maybe, you know, you are not feeling so ready yet, you think that there's a learning opportunity for you here, then give yourself time and have that, make a transition plan. And, you know, but ultimately you need to get out. It's not, you don't want to be stuck in that job. And most importantly for me, that job is it's not necessarily your career. A job that you're doing right now is just a subset of your career. And the company is not, like, you can find that same thing that you enjoy doing in another company that will pay you well. So that's why I actually also wanted to get clarity on, you know, what you were saying. So please make your transition plan and make your way out. Except maybe they are promising you that you're going to be CEO in the next 1 year. But
thank you so much, Ma. The transition
Yeah.
plan is very key. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, Mama K. So we have some questions in the chat box. Ayomide is asking, where can someone find a resourceful community?
Tolu, I'll allow you to answer that one. Okay, so sorry, when you say resourceful community, are you saying
Career
in
community.
the career
I think.
field?
Yes, I think so.
Oh, online, or like the world is global these days, like online. I think I found mine on LinkedIn. So you can check on LinkedIn. It was, you know, from LinkedIn, there was a WhatsApp group I had to register and then I got added to the WhatsApp group. So just go on LinkedIn, whatever, you know, whatever field you're trying to get into, get on LinkedIn and then you can search for it. Also, if you, for example, I'm now an internal auditor, right? And I have my certification in internal audit as well. I took that exam and I got certified earlier this year. So I already have that community. And then we have like an association, we have events. So those are the kind of things. We have events, we do, there's always one seminar or the other coming up, right? So those are things that I also attend. So that's, you know, one way you can find a resourceful community, or just go on LinkedIn, or better still, even just reach out to people already in that field. They can guide you. A lot of people are willing to share knowledge these days, even for free, and they have like communities that they are hosting. I know one of someone that we attended the same school. She's here in Canada, and she set up this community for data scientists. I think it's free, but that's the community for data scientists, at different levels. If you're just starting your career or you're an experienced, people come in and help each other. My husband is in the project management field. He teaches project management. He has a community as well for, people in project management space. So trust me, you just need to look around. You would find them around, and just speak to people as well in your circle. And we have a community as well, Successful International Community. We have a WhatsApp community. You can just drop the question. You might be shocked that, so the field you're looking to find, community in, someone might have an answer to you there. So yes, I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, Ma. So Boluwatife asked, what advice will you give someone who is just about to start building their career? What are the things to look out for and pay attention to?
So that advice, if you're just building out and, you're just starting your career, that advice is literally everything we talked about today. It's a good time, for you. You're just starting. So you don't even have it's not like maybe you are stuck in in an unfulfilling career. You're just starting out. So this is a good time. Just go, I think the slides would also be shared. Just go on the next steps that we talked about. We'll also share the career compass worksheet, because this for me is one of the most important things you can do for yourself. Once you have clarity, not everything will not look like not all the opportunities will look like it for you. You'll be very picky when you see opportunities. For me, I don't just apply to any jobs. I don't just I'm not just throwing myself out there. I'm very picky. And that's because I'm laser clear on, who I am and the kind of career paths that I want to tool. So that's, for me, that's one of the most important things you can do for yourself.
Thank you. Rita also asked the question, but I think I've answered it. Let me just read it out. I've been working in a job that is affecting my mental health. And to be honest, it is not a career path I love. However, I am afraid of, sorry, I lost track of that. However, I am afraid of leaving because of financial concerns and the fear of not finding a new job. What step would you recommend? I don't want to leave the toxic work environment without putting myself in a financially, sorry, I take to leave the toxic work environment without putting myself in a financially unstable position.
Okay. Thank you. I think you said that was from Rita, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Rita. Okay, so thank you so much for that question, Rita. And I mean, this is one of when I was preparing for this session, I can tell you I prepared for this session with my heart. And that's because I don't want to see people in toxic work environments that is getting to the point of affecting their mental health. Because at the end of the day, you just think it's a job, but it's actually affecting your life. And it's so funny because when you are in that moment, you think that this is like this job you have, as in this is a savior. You can't do anything better. You can't, this is the only place you can be in. This is the best for you. There are just so many, you just be in a bubble in your head. And I was there as well in that space. It was affecting my mental health, but I was scared. I was like, do I even have anything like else to offer? Do I even have any, can I do anything else? I was so scared. Right? That, I didn't want to move, but you won't so I have a question for you. What if you got fired? Right? What if you got fired? So you actually don't even have a control on being in that job. So what if you got fired? So what I would suggest, and your fears of, not leaving a job and not having, financial stability is also very valid. Like, I'm not on this call encouraging people to just leave their jobs because they are constantly unhappy or dissatisfied. No, that's not what I'm saying. And that's where this whole process, I'll take you back to what we're talking about. You need to, now that you've not been fired, at least you're still in that job. Okay, so what I'll say is, if it's really toxic, like that, maybe tomorrow you're thinking of committing suicide, maybe you need to leave. Like, if it's that extremely toxic. But if it's, you know, it's average, like you're still, you know, you still have sanity of mind, I would say use the next 3 to 6 months. You know, should I say, create a transition plan that within the next 3 to 6 months, because that's like the average time frame that it takes to get a job. Within the next 3 to 6 months, you want to get a job and leave what you're doing. So have that transition plan. But please, what I would say to you is don't go back and actually do this work, you know, and I'm really begging anyone that is in this situation, don't just listen to this call, because this call has not done anything for you in terms of your career. Okay, yeah, maybe it has, you know, opened your eyes to see some things, but it has not done anything for you. Like I said, your career is in your hands and you're the driver of your career. So you have to do this work. Like all those things were highlighted in the next steps. You have to sit down and do this work. But please, don't be scared. Just have a plan, starting from clarity, getting those things about your career compass, the things about your personality, you know, your interests, all the things that you love, the skills, the kind of career path you want to do. Get that clarity. And once you get that clarity, develop that transition plan. And, you know, even once you develop that clarity and your transition plan, you start to apply for jobs. You're not just applying for any type of jobs. You know, crystal clear the kind of jobs you want to go. You know, the kind of company you want to be in. You know, for you now, I'm sure, you know, a toxic environment is something that you will run away from, because you've seen the, you know, firsthand effect of what it can do to you know, anybody. So yeah, that's what I would say. And I hope that answers your question. Please, if it doesn't, I'm really very passionate about this particular question. If it doesn't answer your question, please, you know, let me know. And I hope you're, you know, if you're in the SWI community as well, you know, you can always reach out to me. You know that my WhatsApp number is on the group. You can always reach out to me and then we can take you from there. Thank you.
All right, Mama Kate, thank you for sharing that. I think that the lesson.
Sorry to cut you short, Tolu. You can also build emergency funds, right? While you're planning to leave, you know, it's part of your transition plan. You build your emergency funds such that, you know, if you don't want to get to that point where it's you know, it's at your throat and you're just stranded and you have to leave, but you're stranded in terms of finances. So start to save more than what you're saving. You know, start to put out extra money so that, you know, even within, if, you know, the job is not forthcoming and has gotten to that toxic level, that extremely toxic level, you can leave. And then you know that you're still sorted financially. Because trust me, your sanity is very, very important. Like very, very important. Okay. I'm sorry to cut you, Tolu.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Ma. Thank you for sharing. We have more questions. However, it's past 12 already, and I think that we have to round up. So what we'll be doing, we'll be sending a link to the group, so you can always, the community, SWI community WhatsApp group chat. So you can always drop your questions, then we'll share the response with you once we get the responses from Mama Kate. Thank you so much, Mama Kate, for, okay, Gabi said you can also use the next 3 to 6 months to build your emergency fund for living if the job is still manageable. So I hope that you got your answers to your questions. Thank you very much, Mama Kate, for your time.
Sorry, Tolu.
Okay, Ma.
Sorry to bother you. So I saw some I just quickly went through some of the questions, right? And what I want to say is most of these questions I'm saying, if you actually go through what we've talked about today, if you actually take the time to sit back out and, you know, and think about, go through everything we talked about today, you would actually get answers to your question. Trust me. It might seem like, oh, I don't think so. But if you actually do the work, you will get answers to your question. I can assure you of that. But like I said, like Tolu said, if you still don't have answers to your questions, please join the community, you know, reach out to us, put your questions in the community. That's why we're here. Like nobody's getting paid for what we're doing. But the main reason why we're here is because we want you to have a better life. We want you to be happy doing the work that you're doing. So please join the community and you know, we can always take it up from there.
All right, Mama Kate, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, everybody, for joining breakfast meeting today. We do appreciate. Thank you for your time, and I'm very sure that we learned a lot from today's session. If you are not a part of Success Within International, you want to join us, yay! We are open to accept you. Please do well to follow us on Instagram at SWI_.